This is a story about love, loss, and the quiet breaking points that rarely happen in front of cameras. Even when a camera is rolling, it's about a woman who smiled through her responsibilities while carrying emotional weight that few could notice, and how the cracks eventually began to show. It's also about the strange, parallel lives of artists who experienced heartbreak in different forms, at different times. It somehow reflected each other's pain. At its core, this is not about fame or success, but about identity, rebuilding, and the moment when holding everything together finally becomes impossible to sustain anymore. The moment on camera. On a quiet day inside her talk show studio, she sat before the cameras with her usual warmth and composure. The audience expected laughter, lightness, and the familiar comfort she always delivered. But something shifted mid-segment. Her voice cracked not from humor or performance, but from the weight of emotions she had long been holding back. For a brief second, the persona slipped, revealing the exhaustion beneath it. Most viewers did not recognize the significance of that moment. They saw only a small, emotional pause. In reality, it was a glimpse into a deeper storm she had been carrying alone, a marriage, unraveling in silence behind closed doors. The relationship that once felt secure began to change shape. There were no dramatic outbursts, only a growing silence that filled the space between two people who once shared everything. Her husband was also her manager, her business partner, and the anchor to many parts of her professional life. Over time, those roles became harder to separate from the emotional bond they once shared. What remained was a quiet distance that neither could fully ignore. In that silence, she began to feel the slow unraveling of a life built together, thread by thread, without clear explanation. Divorce and emotional aftershock. When the decision to end the marriage became public in 2020, it marked not just a legal separation, but an emotional earthquake. The life she had carefully built began to collapse into unfamiliar pieces. She later expressed that she never imagined things reaching that point, believing deeply in the promise of forever. The reality of separation brought confusion and grief that could not be easily explained to the outside world. What hurt most was not only the ending itself, but the realization that something she trusted completely had shifted beyond repair, leaving her to question what stability truly meant anymore. Parallel heartbreak. Blake Shelton's break. Around the same world of music and performance, another artist experienced his own collapse of certainty. His marriage to Miranda Lambert, once seen as a strong country pairing, ended unexpectedly in 2015. The separation left him publicly shaken and privately searching for meaning. He later admitted to struggling deeply in the aftermath, describing moments where he questioned who he was outside of that relationship. The identity he had built alongside his partner felt suddenly uncertain. In that period, he faced isolation and reflection, trying to rebuild a sense of self. After a chapter of life he thought would last forever, when Gwen Stefani entered the picture in another corner of the same industry. Gwen Stefani was also navigating the aftermath of a broken marriage. Her long relationship with Gavin Rossdale ended after years together, leaving her to process betrayal and emotional collapse while raising children. During this difficult period, she stepped into a professional role as a coach on a televised competition, masking personal pain behind public composure. It was there she encountered Blake Shelton, who was also dealing with his own emotional wounds. Their connection was not immediate romance, but recognition. Two people quietly acknowledging the shared experience of loss and the struggle to rebuild trust again. Recognition in the rubble of what developed between them was not a sudden love story, but a slow realization built on shared understanding. Both had entered that space carrying emotional exhaustion from failed relationships. In each other they saw a reflection of what it felt like to lose stability and still be expected to perform publicly. Conversations grew easier over time, grounded not in attraction alone, but in empathy. They recognized the quiet pain beneath the professional smiles. That recognition created a foundation of trust that neither had expected to find again so soon after their respective heartbreaks and personal disorientation. During that time, Kelly Clarkson's quiet collapse. While others found companionship in shared experiences, she moved through her own collapse largely alone. Even as her public life expanded, with a successful daytime talk show, her private world was falling apart in silence. Each appearance required energy, warmth, and emotional presence that contrasted sharply with what she felt internally. Behind the scenes, she navigated separation, motherhood, and uncertainty about the future. The contrast between public brightness and private heaviness became increasingly difficult to balance. In that space, she experienced a deep emotional isolation, where success and personal loss existed side by side, without resolution or relief, rebuilding in real time. Even during the most difficult period of her personal life, she continued to build professionally. Stepping onto her talk show set each day with determination, the work demanded consistency, humor, and emotional openness regardless of what was happening behind the scenes. While her marriage was unraveling, she was simultaneously creating something new for the public to see. That dual reality required extraordinary resilience. The microphone became both a tool and a shield, allowing her to transform private pain into professional presence. Through repetition and commitment, she maintained stability in one area of life, while another quietly changed shape, finding strength in reinvention. Over time, the music she performed and the words she chose began to reflect a deeper transformation. Songs that once carried different meanings started to feel like personal declarations of survival and independence. She moved away from versions of herself shaped by expectation and towards something more self-defined. The process was not sudden but gradual, marked by reflection and emotional honesty. Through it, she discovered that strength did not come from holding everything together, but from allowing change to reshape her identity. In that evolution, she emerged more grounded, more self-aware, and no longer defined by past certainty. Outrow reflection. In the end, this is not just a story about fame or heartbreak, but about the quiet ways people rebuild themselves. After life changes direction without warning, it is about learning to exist in the space between who you were and who you are becoming. Every stage of her journey reflects resilience in different forms, sometimes visible, sometimes hidden behind a smile. What remains most powerful is not the breakdown itself, but the rebuilding that follows. And perhaps the question that lingers is whether strength is found in surviving the storm or in who you become after it passes.